Yeah, but Japan definitely went overboard. Some of the stuff that went down on that trip. Jackie was the instigator, I think. I probably set the tone. I told a story. I told a story on the first night, and I think how it starts is how it ends a lot of the time. So I actually sat down at the very first evening of our trip. The night before, I was really nervous because I was actually meeting Jackie for the first time. So me and Jackie went out and had dinner and had a few beers together and just hit it off straight away. She's a bloody legend, one of the best chicks you'll ever meet. And so we had dinner. We went to this Japanese restaurant. And we were seated in a really, really nice location. We're sitting down cross-legged, as is the Japanese custom, and sitting around the table. And everybody was having a couple of beers. There was a little bit of sake going around. Nothing crazy, but, getting to know each other. And there was a group of there was 10 of us or 11 of us or 12 of us maybe at the start. And then halfway through, we had a coaching group, the Hang Strong guys, some gymnastics coaches come over and finish the trip with us. So, but at the start, it was about 10 or 12. So good crew, like good, healthy crew. And they were all Americans, actually. Apart from Chris Strange, I believe, and maybe me. But anyway, so we're sitting around the table and I said, okay, cool. What I think we do, guys, is let's do a little exercise. What I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about me and, something that maybe you don't know. And then I'll pass it over to Jackie. She'll do the same. And let's go around in circle and, and we'll get to know everybody and so on and so forth. So anyway, so I was like, right. And when I said it, I actually didn't have a story. I didn't have a funny fact about me. So I started off and I said, all right, well, you know what? Well, my name's Doc, obviously. My name's Bill, but people call me Doc, so you guys can call me Doc. I'm the, founder of AdventureFit, and, the reason I started the company was I wanted to be able to, travel the world with people and show them the world, and I wanted to bring in exercise and mindfulness as well, and so on and so forth, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, and a couple of things that you don't know about me, and, and I gave him one little story. And I said, and the first time that I ever came was riding a big blow-up dragon at the local swim centre. And everybody kind of stopped and then just started screaming with laughter. So what actually happened was, when I was about 12 or 13 years old, I'd never actually orgasmed before, right? So I never knew the feeling. I didn't know what the feeling was like. I didn't know even the build up to this sensation, whatever. I'm 12 or 13, right? So anyway, we were at the local swim centre and there was a big blow up, basically play toy at the center. So, but it happened to be a dragon. So the tail at the back, middle section, and then down the jaws of the dragon and so forth, or the nose of the dragon. I can't really remember. But you would come and climb up the tail. Then you would get across the platform in the middle. And then going down the nose or outside the jaws, however it was positioned, I can't really remember. But going down the face of the dragon, the snout, let's say, there was two railings on each side of the snout, so you wouldn't fall right off the side or fall off, the other side. You would hit the railings and go down and find your way into the water. Because we're only little kids, So I was a little shit growing up, always wanted my own way, always trying to figure out ways that I can make things, work in my advantage. So what I decided to do was, I went down the dragon, climbed up the tail, through the top, down the nose of the dragon. And I did probably 2 or 3 laps, and you're getting a ride of the dragon probably, let's say, every 7 minutes. And I'm only at the swim centre for 45 minutes, So I've got 3 rides of the dragon, and it's 21 minutes in, getting close to 25 minutes. I was like, you know what, fuck this. There's got to be a way to, skip this line. So I decided, instead of swimming around and going up the tail of the dragon, coming down the front, I was like, I'm just going to climb up the front of this dragon. So effectively, if you can imagine the snout of this dragon, which is a big slide, and each side of it, like a bumper bowling at the old bowling alley. So there was blow up railings basically on each side of the dragon's snout, the slide. So I decided I came down the dragon, and then I'd jump up and I'd pull myself up. So you can imagine this little kid reaching forward and then pulling himself with his groin just hanging over the outside of this railing, pulling himself up over and over and over, probably 10 meters that's probably too much, maybe like 6 meters up every time. But then I would get up there and no one was pulling me up. No teachers, I don't know what they were doing, or the swim instructors, they were just letting me go. So I would pull myself up this dragon, slide down, and I was like, fuck, that felt great. And then anyway, I'd do it again, and I was like, what is going on here? This is the funnest dragon ever. And then anyway, so I've done it a final time, and I've pulled myself up this dragon, and then about halfway up, I've come. And so I told that story. And as you can imagine, as you can imagine, the crowd loved it, but I think so what actually happened, I started with that story, and then Jackie started with her story, and then she had a real heartfelt story and moved on to the next. And Chris Strange had been really sick, and that was the reason he wanted to go out on this trip to Japan. He wanted to test himself out and really put himself out there, and went to the next person, and she'd lost a brother, and was it lost a brother? I can't remember exactly everybody's stories, but everybody had a real heartfelt story and a heartfelt reason to why they were out there. And I told this story about fucking coming on a dragon. So the hashtag, we would line up hashtags for the trips, ADVF, hashtag ADVF Japan 17 or whatever was the official hashtag. But the hashtag just became Ride the Dragon. So Ride the Dragon, everyone that actually was on that trip, so I speak to Jackie a fair bit still, just touching base, and she'll ask me, oh, you been, dating any girls and whatever, and I'll always ask her, I'll say, how have you been doing, Jackie? You've been riding the dragon. So it's still AdventureFit vernacular to this day, but the Japan trip was, oh man, it was unreal. It was unreal. So Dave and Jackie, they came and joined me on the Japan trip, and Jackie came and joined us on a few more. And yeah, just one of the most lovable chicks you'll ever meet. One of those real, oh yeah, pleased to meet you, Jackie Perez. Oh shit, did I just fart? Sorry. One of those kind of chicks, just real rough around the edges, real down to earth, and just a knucklehead. But I love her. So